Carlsbad, People, Purpose, and Impact, an essential podcast for those who live, work, visit, and play in Carlsbad.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Brett Schanzenbach. I am the president and CEO of the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, and I am your host today, and I'm excited to have with me two guests. I have Melanie Robertson, the owner of Melanie Robertson Photography, and Rosanna Nykanen, the hair and makeup artist with Melanie at her photography studio. Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon. Hi.
Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, super excited to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, it's very good to have you. And Melanie, we've known each other since I started here at the Chamber 4 years ago and got to know each other. But when I was doing some background digging, maybe I knew some of this, but if I did, I've totally forgotten it. It looks like you originally started out as a nurse.
I was.
An L&D nurse.
I was a labor and delivery nurse, loved every minute. And then by the time we had baby number 4, it was time to stay home. So I stayed home with them. It's
time to be done with the insanity. It's cool insanity, labor and delivery, but it's still insane.
Yes. It was a great job. Loved it.
My wife is a postpartum nurse, and so she always talks about that whole thing is like the Disneyland of hospital work, you know? It's like positive stuff.
Everybody wants.
Right? You did that, and then you stayed home with kiddos as your family was growing. But what led you to A, photography, and B, to Carlsbad? Because you were a nurse, looks like, in Canada.
Yeah, and Virginia.
Okay.
So both. And what led me to photography is literally just friends would ask, wow, your pictures are different. Would you take our family picture? And I did it a few times, not really knowing what I was doing. And then my friend and I were going on a mission trip to Thailand. And this is why on Facebook it says Melanie Robertson Photography on Mission. Is that my very first time when we ever made money is we did a fundraiser because I was going on this trip so that we could then bring Bibles to people who were in prison in Thailand. That's where it all started.
That's a super cool origin story. And then how did you get to Carlsbad? From Canada to Virginia to Carlsbad? Or maybe there was some stops.
There's some more in the middle.
Yeah, some more.
Yes. So we were in the South. We were in Huntsville, Alabama for 15 years.
Okay.
And then my husband had a job opportunity and we were like, life adventure. And so we moved out here.
And they had to like really twist your arm to come to Carlsbad, I'm sure.
I know it.
Yeah. And so Rosie, give us your background. How did you get into hair and makeup? Are you a local?
Yes, I am a local.
Okay.
Born and raised, San Diego.
Nice.
Kind of all over the place. I was in East County, born and raised. I went to West Hills High School.
Nice.
And I lived in Nashville for a time after high school and then came back. So my career started in Nashville, and I had gone to hair school out here in California and was having trouble getting that licensure to transfer states as quickly as I needed it to make money. So I had a friend who worked at MAC Cosmetics, and I kind of fell into doing the makeup thing. And in Nashville, there's photo shoots and video shoots all the time.
The musicians, right?
Yes,
the music industry.
There's music everywhere. So that's where I started. And then when I got married, it was kind of part of the deal that we would come back to San Diego. And so we did, and weddings are everywhere in San Diego. So I fell into doing that. And the rest is history. I mean, I'm all over San Diego, top to bottom, every day.
And the wedding industry doesn't have to take a break for winter weather or anything.
No. It's really lovely. And it keeps things really interesting that I get to do production things and photo shoots and video shoots and weddings. And working with Melanie is a beautiful heart project that kind of brings all of that together.
Fantastic. So, Melanie, when you came out, tell us what year you came out here to Carlsbad.
So this is our 5th year.
Okay.
We're here, yeah.
So this is my 5th year. Boy, we came.
I know.
I
was here just before you.
Okay. I love that. And then as soon as you got here, you set up your studio right away.
Yeah, because I had been doing the same where we lived before, specializing in high school seniors. And when I moved here, so starting from scratch, but history and knew, how to create this business and specializing in high school seniors.
So I was looking at your website.
Yeah.
And I love the line you have here. It says, and I'm quoting you now, I love to show high school seniors how beautiful and important they are.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and why that's the passion behind what you do.
Well, I feel like I've been doing this a long time now. So for me, it has to be something more than just then pressing the button, the technology behind it. I have this really cool opportunity to invest in like high school students' lives. And at the end of the day, the power of a photo is so important. And I get to teach them that they are worthy, they're loved, and they're beautiful. And I just feel very honored and privileged to be part of their life at this time. It's really cool to watch the transformation when we work together as a team to be able to showcase all the different things that the girls and the guys, what they love to do. Yeah, I think that's awesome. That's my heartbeat behind it.
Yeah. Rosie, you got anything you want to add on that one?
Well, it's pretty incredible to watch these kids when they first come in. They're, not quite sure how everything's going to go. Some of them are more excited than others right at the very beginning of it and sure of themselves or acting like they're sure of themselves. Yeah. And then as we get to know them and they can loosen up a little bit and I can play with their hair and show them that they're worth spending time on and that they have valuable pieces of their personality that are worth documenting, they really come to life. And we get to see this unfolding of these characters that are a part of them. And when you're in high school, everything is bonkers and you don't know what's going on. And finally somebody looks at you and really sees you. We get the chance to do that, usually with a parent around, which is even more incredible that their parent gets this moment of seeing their tiny human become a real person and perhaps see a different side of them that they might not have before.
That's fun. So the core, Melanie, of what you do with the seniors is what you call your ambassador program. So why don't you kind of walk us through that? What does that mean and how does that work and how could somebody find out more?
Sure. Yeah. So oh my gosh, as long as I can remember, I've been offering a senior ambassador program. And it's a year-long program and I have 15 girls and it's really a mother-daughter program. And at the beginning of the year in September, we always do a fun stylized photo shoot, which is just organized, wonderful chaos where we have hair and makeup artists and clothing and photo shoots and moms there and the girl. It's just really a fun day. And each year the theme is different. The current year right now is monochrome. So I got that idea from Vogue and fashion sort of forward looking and seeing what was in trend. And so I try to follow along those things, just being inspired. And so every year's theme is different. And then after that, we do a mother-daughter tea, which is like super dear to my heart because it's my opportunity to really create these memories between mother and daughter and help them kind of like press the pause button and stop and make this special memory together and just encourage each other. The mom can give her blessing and just like have a moment to stop and say, I'm so proud of you. And then the daughters have a chance to thank their mom. And so it's really, really a special time. And Rose has been able to come to some of those with me. And so that's my heartbeat. And then throughout the rest of the year, them being the ambassadors, they help me be the face of my business. So I do fun photo shoots with them. Literally this morning, I sent them a message about an upcoming Valentine's photo shoot. Who can come? And I set a theme and then the girls all come and then they get a chance to have images to post. And I get to just pour into their lives a little more.
And at each one of these photo shoots, Rosie, you're there, or as many of them as you can be?
Yeah, some of them I am, and some of them I'm not. It's kind of nice too to have the girls and the guys, if they're guy ambassadors as well, do their own stuff for some things, have their own individuality there, and then for some things, I'm able to be part of it too. It's really a full gamut of experience for them.
Sure. And so, how does the process work for somebody who's like, ooh, that sounds fun. I want to be involved.
Absolutely.
Like, how does that work? How do they get involved?
So every January, February, which happens to be now, which is great, I host studio tours. And so the mom and the daughter come to the studio. I show them around, show them my work, talk through what it is like to be in the ambassador program, as well as when they do their own senior session that's custom just for them. And then if it's a great fit, then we sign them up. And the way I find people has nothing to do with finances, what you look like, what school you go to, any of those things. Honestly, I have 3 things that I tell them all the time of how I choose my families is I need you to be a nice girl. I know that sounds so basic, but it really is true. We don't want difficult situations. I want you to just be a kind, generous, loving person.
I love that.
And then they need to have a good relationship with their mom
Mm,
because how wonderful for them to make this opportunity. And then the
Yeah.
third thing is they need to like my work.
Mm.
So they see what I create. And if that's a good fit, then I would love to tell them more about the program and have them in the program. By the end of February every year, I have that group finalized. And again, those are just my ambassadors. So as you can imagine, I can't run a business on just 15 families.
Right.
So then they go out throughout the year, share with their friends, their family, what they've experienced with me. And through that helps my business grow.
That's fantastic. So we're going to take a brief pause. We're talking to Melanie Robertson and Rosie Nykanen from Melanie Robertson Photography. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about her ambassador program and some of the other services she offers. So stick with us. We'll be back in just a moment. So, Melanie, the heart of what you do is seniors,
Mhm.
and you've been talking about that with the ambassador program, but you do other things too. And I was intrigued. I wouldn't have thought of this as a category of photo shoots, but on your website, you have a whole thing dedicated to dance.
Yes.
So, talk about your dance focus.
So I guess it probably personally came from my kids. So we have
Yeah.
4 kids, a boy and 3 girls. And the 3 girls were all involved in gymnastics and dance.
Mhm.
And so, like I said, I've been doing this is my 13th year. And so I ended up over the years finding a lot of families that were involved in dance. And so been able to kind of focus on that. I feel like I understand the language of dance.
Sure.
And so I can help them create images that really showcase their talent.
That's awesome. And then another thing that's very important for today's business professional is a headshot. Even though seniors are your specialty, but for personal branding and for LinkedIn and for things like that, talk about what you have to offer folks.
Absolutely. So having a studio just around the corner from here in Carlsbad, I have many different background options, different looks. We can either match with something that maybe the business has, but you can also break something really custom to who they are. So I have even in the front of the studio where we could do it on a couch where it maybe seems more like a real estate agent or a personal connection to a desk, to all the backgrounds in the backyard, in the back and outside. And it's something too that we can partner with, and then Rosie will come in and help with hair and makeup.
Nice. So, yeah, even with the corporate ones, Rosie, there's a place for you to come in and spruce.
It is beyond necessary, which is an
good way to
intense
say it.
word for me to use when it comes to hair and makeup, because I'm fully about people being enough the way that they are. But when you're talking about a business headshot, you're communicating a lot with
Yeah.
one very specific shot. And especially, you might be surprised by that, but especially if you're a person that doesn't wear a lot of makeup, or perhaps a man who never wears makeup,
Sure.
or any number of those kinds of scenarios. Typically, people are really nervous about it and don't want to do hair and makeup. They want to feel like themselves, but that's exactly why you need hair and makeup for this kind of a shot. I'm there to make sure that there aren't weird flyaways, or
Sure.
that your face, everything flattens by about 30% when you're photographed, and you're not a flat human. You don't want to communicate that you're a flat human. So there are very specific techniques that we use to use makeup and styling so that you look like the person that you are in person when you're talking right in front of somebody, that comes through in your photograph.
I love that. Melanie, you mentioned, your passion for having the mother-daughter experience. You also have something on your website called a mother-daughter retreat. So what's that?
Yeah. So something where the families that are in the ambassador program, that we could go and do a fun out of state, or, even just a traveling adventure for the weekend. One time we went to Vegas and stayed in this house together. It was so fun. And we had a hair and makeup team. And then we went out and did photos in a traditional kind of Vegas setting, and then out to where the beautiful red rocks are. And so it was just a great fun thing to get away, mom and daughter together, more intimate, small group.
I really love that you include the moms in all that.
Yeah.
I think that's so. You and I are both parents of larger families, and the value of that relationship being strong. I think that's really beautiful how you do that. So I commend you for that.
Thank you.
You've won some pretty cool awards
I have,
as a photographer. I think the most recent one I saw was a top 100 photographer in the country, like out of something like over 900 photographers. Tell us about that.
So it was over 9,000 images.
9,000.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. So over 9,000 images were entered into this. And so mine was chosen.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of really exciting.
That's huge.
It's a huge honor. Yeah. And then I don't know if you saw the other one. This one took me a year to accomplish, but with our local PPSDC, which is Professional Photographers of San Diego County.
Okay.
After a year of print competitions, I scored consistently good scores and title right now of the High School Senior Photographer of the Year for San Diego County.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
High school photography, say it again.
High School Senior Photographer of the Year.
High School Senior Photographer of the Year, right here in Carlsbad, folks. So, and you mentioned this, and I meant to pick up on it, but we should probably highlight that you're not just working with Carlsbad High School students.
No, it's not especially with the ambassador program. My goal is that it is not just with one high school. I want all these kids and these families to come together from different schools. I even had years back, I had 2 girls that didn't know each other, met each other in the ambassador program, and went off to college to be roommates.
Oh, that's great.
And so I love that, to be able to bring kids together that might not know each other from different schools, So
you're pulling from all over North County, I would assume. And of course, and that's for the ambassador program. But then, of course, for shooting your senior portraits,
yes,
anybody from anywhere.
Diversity is magic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. So we've spent a lot of time talking about the ambassador program, which is primarily female, but you do have males that you shoot senior portraits for. So talk about them a little bit. Let's not leave the boys out.
Of course. So we do boy senior sessions like all the time, and the boys love it as much as the girls. It might not tell you out loud, but they love it too. And one that we just did that was super fun is he's a hockey player. Oh. So we went to the ice rink, and I'm out there on the ice, shuffling along, make sure we don't drop anything with the lights and everything, and waiting for him to come in and get that big icing photo.
Oh, wow.
And it was pretty cool. And I just entered that one in a print competition maybe 2 weeks ago now, and I got a good award for that too.
Nice. I have to know though, did you do makeup on the hockey player?
So I do makeup and hair on guys all the time. That particular hockey player, I didn't.
But we wish she did, because he had the best hair.
His mom actually said, "I'm so bummed that I didn't have you come do it. I'm so bummed you didn't do it, because he's got all this hair. It's wild hair." So it makes a difference, guys. It makes a difference. And it doesn't look any different than they would look on a normal day. But in the photo, it matters.
Yes, I agree.
And I've had the opportunity to be in your studio and see some familiar faces on the wall of your studio. So talk about things that, like family portrait sessions, or I've seen some beautiful maternity shots, that kind of stuff.
Definitely. So going back to what I used to do, labor and delivery, I definitely have a sweet spot and love for moms and babies. I don't get to do them very often, but when I do, it's just beautiful. I think I want to make it this beautiful piece of art that you can have forever. And Kathleen, that's from here, I have a beautiful portrait of her hanging in the studio.
Yes.
And then family portraits, super important. I feel like I do a lot more family portraits where the kids are bigger as opposed to littles. Because when they come in for their senior session, they're like, oh gosh, the last time we had a family photo, she was 8 and now she's 17.
Right.
So what a good time. So I do a lot of family portraits, like often actually, but they're not with littles.
Yeah. And you have the studio, obviously, but are you also out and about doing like family stuff and whatnot?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're right here by the beach, right?
Yes. So every session, when it's their own senior session. We are at the studio, do hair and makeup, then do studio work, hop in cars, and go on location. And location could mean anything. Leo Carrillo, definitely a great park. So many options. We go to the beach. We have our wonderful little path that we know where the trees touch, and it's just perfect.
She's gotten some incredible shots in the little grassy patch right outside of a Taco Bell.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. That's a good one.
I think it's worth saying Melanie is a photographer whose eye is impeccable, but the way that your brain connects things is unlike anything I've ever seen or worked with before. And you really can take literally any location or lighting scenario or truly the worst case scenarios and make these stunning shots come out of them that I'm like sweating a little bit when we're taking the shots. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work.
Yeah.
This lighting is crazy. I don't even understand. And then she finds a little patch of grass in the parking lot of a Taco Bell and makes it this gorgeous sunlit magical photo. It's really a sight to behold the way that she works.
Yeah, the Taco Bell story is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I doubt that's very often that you're finding a good material right by a Taco Bell, but hey, having that eye. So if somebody wanted to learn more about you or the ambassador program or any of these services, what is the best way? Your website?
The website, or honestly, they can call, text. Love to set up studio tours because I really want to make this good relationship with people. I want them to want like what I offer to make sure that they know everything up front. So studio tours are my favorite.
And the studio is different than most studios are.
Which I don't really know because she goes into other studios, right? So I just live in my little world.
She has an entire wardrobe set up. Yes. She has a wardrobe of pre-used, pre-owned clothing, all the way from regular street clothes up to formal wear, sportswear, dance wear. She's used curtains as these flowing pieces to make these art photos work that you can pull out of. She has a whole a bookshelf of jewelry that people can use, of headpieces, of all of these different things. And then she has 3 scenarios of backdrops that are all interchangeable. And she has partnerships with different backdrop companies that you can use. Literally, the sky is the limit with what you can get in Melanie's studio. And that's not usually the case. And to have that available and with somebody who thinks technically the way that she does in being able to manipulate the lighting, where what you see in person in the studio and then you look in the camera before she's even edited it and you see the magic that's coming through that shot, it is unreal.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Well, I'm very honest.
It's a little different than walking into the studio at the mall.
Yes. Yeah. This is not a glamour shots situation.
Oh, that's great. So we should probably tell everybody what your website is.
Yes. So my name, MelanieRobertsonPhotography.com.
MelanieRobertsonPhotography.com. And from there, they could call you or contact you to set up that studio tour. Excellent. Is there anything we missed? Anything that you want to make sure and share that I missed?
Okay, so when Rosie was just talking, it reminded me that we should quickly tell you about our latest photo shoot we just did.
Oh, do tell.
Oh, Savannah's?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. She brought a snake in.
Oh, my.
She did. So I'm not really a snake fan.
Yeah.
But
I am.
Rosie is. And so between Rosie and Savannah, they took care of the snake. I did touch her. I kept calling it a he.
You were very
what
brave.
Kind of snake
but
was
I did touch her just a little bit.
It was a ball python.
Okay.
She was very sweet. Her name was Raspberry. The snake's name was Raspberry.
Yeah.
I swear that snake took direction like a champ. She curled right around in the most artistic little configurations. The shots that you got were truly unbelievable.
Thank you.
They were beautiful.
Check
You'll
those
have
out.
to see them. So that's what kind of I want to be able to do for each person that comes to me is that everything is super custom.
Yeah.
So in that process of talking to them and brainstorming ideas, all these things come out about each person. Yeah. And so we got to talking and she's like, oh, I love snakes. I'm like, well, let's do it. And then she got a snake from school. It's not hers. And so, yeah. So we just did a big, beautiful photo shoot with a snake.
It was lovely. Along with 7 other outfits and looks that were completely different than a snake.
True.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for taking the time to come down and share and talk about your passion and all the good stuff you guys do. To all you out there, you know a senior, it's your child, your grandchild, your next door neighbor, send them Melanie's way. She would love to help them out. And if you have any other photography needs, Melanie's available.
Thank you so much. What an awesome, so fun to come and do this with you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us on our Carlsbad People, Purpose, and Impact podcast today. If you enjoyed it, please hit the follow button on wherever you get your audio. And please tell a friend. We would love to hear your feedback, which you can share at carlsbadpodcast.com. You can leave us a review, ask a question, or leave an audio comment, which we can play on the show in the future. And that's all we have for today. Can't wait to see you next time on Carlsbad People, Purpose, and Impact. And remember, share some kindness today. It's free, creates goodwill, and makes you feel great.